Hey everybody, this is the video for finding equivalent fractions. We're going to start with number 1 where it says to match each fraction expression on the top with an equivalent decimal expression on the bottom. For these you want to think a lot about money. Money is going to help you get those figured out. So let's look at the first one. 4/10 we know is the same as 40 cents. Plus 20 hundredths is the same as 20 cents. So we're going to look down here for one that looks like 40 cents plus 20 cents. I see this one, it's just missing that 0, which is it's allowed to do. We can take zeros off the end of numbers like that in our decimals. So this is the one that matches that. Okay. Then let's skip over to do this one here where it says 15 hundredths minus 1/10. Well, 15 hundredths is the same as 15 cents. 1/10 is the same as 10 cents. So I see 15 cents minus, again, that would be 10 cents. Those go together. Okay, so you are going to go ahead and finish those on your own. The one that might be tricky that I noticed right here is we've got a whole number, 1 4/10. So make sure you're checking which one of these up here is an improper fraction. That's the one that's going to be going with that one. All right, number 2, evaluate each expression. Represent your answer as both a fraction and a decimal. Let's just start with letter A, where we have 60 cents minus 25 cents. 60 minus 25 is 35 cents, which can also be written as 35 hundredths. Or if you want to simplify it, you can divide both by 5 and get 7/20. And then I think you can handle these ones on your own. The only one to be careful of here is that this is 5 hundredths, not 5/10. So make sure you're adding that one correctly. It's actually pretty easy once you add it up. Let's do letter E. This would be 40 hundredths plus 60 hundredths. Remember, if we add a 0, we can do that on both top and bottom, equals 100 100ths or 1. Okay, big thing on these is just going to be to make sure that you write it in both a fraction and a decimal. Now 1 could be also written 1.0 if you want to make sure you include that decimal. Number 3, students at Jonah's school can walk or run laps at recess. At the end of each month, the class that has covered the most distance is recognized by the parent group. Jonah and Haley walked 4 1/3 laps around the track yesterday and 3 1/2 laps today. How many laps did they walk together in the last 2 days? Show your work. I'm going to let you do that one on your own. Remember, we need to find common denominators. So 3 and 2, I would probably go with sixths. Go ahead and try and figure that out, and don't forget to add your whole number. Letter B, Jonah ran 1 3/4 laps on Monday, 2 3/10 laps on Tuesday, and 5 1/6 laps, or 6 1/5 laps on Wednesday. How much farther did he run on Wednesday than on the other 2 days combined? Show your work. So on Monday, I'm going to put an M so I don't get it mixed up. 1 3/4. So I've got to look and see how can I make my common denominators on all 3 of these. And I notice they're all fractions that work with money. So I'm going to do 1 3/4 is 75 hundredths. Okay. On Tuesday, he did 2, oh, that's an easy one, and 30 hundredths. On Wednesday, he did 6 and 20 hundredths, remember, is 1/5. So now I need to add up Monday and Tuesday because they want to find out how much farther on Wednesday than on the other 2 days combined. So 1 75 hundredths plus 2 30 hundredths equals 3 75 plus 30 equals 105 hundredths. Or I can turn this improper fraction into a mixed number of 1 5 hundredths. So that becomes 4 5 hundredths, or 4 1/20. But I don't want it simplified quite yet because I need to subtract it from 6 and 20 hundredths, because that's how far you went on Wednesday. So minus 4 and 5 hundredths equals 2, and 20 minus 5 is 15 hundredths, or 2, and I'm dividing them both by 5, and 3/20ths. So laps. So that's your answer on that one. Okay. Let's go to the back. Don't forget to come back and do the rest of them on the front. Jonah and Haley made brownies to bring as a class treat. Some were plain and some had sprinkles. The class ate 3/4 of one pan and 1/6 of another pan of the plain brownies. They ate 5/6 of one pan and 1/10 of another pan of brownies with sprinkles. If the brownie pans were the same size, did the class eat more plain brownies or more brownies with sprinkles? So I need to add these up. Here are my fractions. 3/4 and 1/6 are the fractions for the plain brownies. I'm going to make my common denominator 12 because I know that 4 times 3 and 6 times 2 both equal 12. So 3 times 3 is 9/12, and 1 times 2 and 6 times 2 is 2/12. So they ate 11/12 of the plain brownies. Now when I get to sixths and tenths, I'm gonna go with 30ths because I know that 6 times 5 is 30 and 10 times 3 is 30. So I need to do 5 times 5 and 6 times 5 plus 1 times 3 and 10 times 3. Okay, so I have 25 30ths plus 3/30 equals 25 plus 3 is 28/30. And I can divide both of those by 2, so I end up with 14/15 of the sprinkles. Now, I could do a bunch of math here, but I know that if something is cut into 15 pieces, the one that's left is going to be a lot smaller than the one that's left when I have something cut into 12 pieces. So they ate more of the ones with sprinkles. Okay. Now it is going to ask me how much more. So I have to figure out what my common denominator is between 14/50ths and 11/12ths. And I remember when we did clocks that 60ths are the same. That is a little bit of a tricky question, but we can use our brains to figure that out. There's a lot of different ways we could figure it out, but I'm going to give you that clue right now. So 15 times 4 is 60, and 12 times 5 is 60. So I end up with 14 times 4. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 10 is 40, and 4 times 4 is 16. 40 plus 16 equals 56. So 56/60ths minus 11 times 5 is 55/60ths equals 1/60th more. Not very much more, a very tiny bit more. The challenge today asks about a coach took his team out for pizza after their last game. There were 14 players, so they had to sit in smaller groups at different tables. 6 players sat at one table and got 4 small pizzas to share equally. The other 8 players sat at a different table and got 6 small pizzas to share equally. Afterwards, one of the players said it wasn't fair because some kids got more pizza than others. Do you agree? Use numbers, words, or labeled sketches to explain your answer. Well, let's find out. So they had 4 small pizzas, okay, to share at the one table, and there were 6 of them. So we're just going to assume that they cut each one of those into 6 pieces. So each of them got 1, 2, 3, 4 sixths because there were 6 pieces in each one. At the other table, they got 6 pizzas to share equally, but there were 8 of them. So they had to divide those into 8. Whoops, that wasn't very well done. Into 8 pieces. Okay. 8 pieces for each one, and they each got 1 piece of that 8. So they got 6/8. Now, I could figure all that out, but I can notice I can simplify these. I could find common denominators. It's just a lot of work. I can simplify these into 2/3 and 3/4. Now, if I draw a bigger pizza and I color it in like that, 2/3 is less than 3/4. So yes, I agree. It was not quite fair. Okay, and then this work shows my answer. All right, if you didn't pause the video earlier while you were going through, do that now and go back and finish the questions on the other side. You need to do all of these 3 and then the connecting the lines. If you still have questions, please feel free to ask, and I hope it goes well for you.